Welcome to the State Hornet Broadcast.
I'm Shamarki Holif.
And I'm Skylar Finlay.
President Luke Wood announced plans to construct a multi-use stadium that will hold an anticipated 25,000 guests. The stadium will host athletic and campus events and is set to be constructed where the current Hornet Stadium resides. Here is multimedia staffer Skylar Finlay with student insight on the new stadium announcement.
Hey Hornets, welcome back to another Sac State Says. I'm Skylar Finlay, and today we're asking students about President Wood's announcement to build a new multi-use stadium for athletics and campus events. The new multi-use stadium will hold a minimum capacity of 25,000 attendees. The facility would host events such as football, men's and women's soccer, rugby, intramural and recreational sports, graduation, and concerts. We asked students what they had heard about the new stadium and their initial thoughts on it.
Very little, just a quick article, but it seemed like a really great idea, and just happy for the team and just like for the school. I'll try to make my way over there when it's built.
I've just heard that it's going to be to make our, for the athletics teams, more sports events and like upgrading. Basically saying that the stadium we have now is not as good and it could be better.
So I've heard a little bit about it. I've seen the email. I'm super excited that they're going to expand and grow our stadium.
Hornet Stadium is set to be torn down at the end of the football season. Students shared the potential influence that the new multi-use stadium could have on their campus experiences.
I think it will entice me to want to attend more school events. I mean, we see other schools that are a lot larger, like Alabama, and how much their population goes to the football games and everything like that. And I feel like ours doesn't have as much people or like traffic coming through, so I think it'll excite a lot of people.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I like the old one. I've been there a few times, but I think when it's more modernized and just revamped, I feel like it'll just be like a whole new door for just games and other events.
Revamping the stadium, it can also give further opportunities for students here, possibly taking a little bit of participation into the development of the stadium, whether it be engineering, architecture, whether it be other majors, just getting in a little bit of the experience.
Some Sac State students expressed positive reactions that students will attend more sporting events. However, others felt the new stadium is unnecessary and funding can go to other programs.
I think it's just a great way to get the campus more involved, the students, the faculty, and even like just people from Sacramento. Yeah, either it's like football games. I feel like it's just a great way just to get everyone together for for anything really.
I think a lot of people enjoy the sports here at the school, and making it further progressing it will cause a lot of people to join.
I think that there are other ways that we can upgrade student athletics, and I don't think we necessarily need another stadium for that. And this money could be going towards students that are financially unstable, and it could be going towards programs that could better that financial stability. As for the funding, that's coming out of our pockets, and I don't believe that that's why our student fees and our tuition should be higher.
I'm Skylar Finlay for the State Hornet. Thanks for watching. In other news, President Luke Wood announced a $508 student fee increase over the next 3 years. The fees being increased include the intercollegiate athletics fee, instructionally related activities fee, recreational sports fee, and the student health services fee. Here is multimedia staffer Shamarki Holif with student reactions to the fee increases.
Welcome back to another Sac State Says. I'm Shamarki Holif, and we're getting student reactions to the new student fee increases. President Luke Wood recently announced a $508 increase over the next 3 years. Students voiced their concerns about the higher fees that will be implemented in fall 2025.
I feel that college is kind of already expensive enough for students, so for it to kind of raise, I just feel like it kind of puts more pressure and more stress on college students, and I feel like they have a lot to kind of stress on already. So increasing the prices I feel like that would just really take a toll on college students' mental health.
Like it's supposed to be a kind of affordable school, and it kind of getting slapped with these fee increases. It's crazy, especially probably for the incoming freshmen who didn't know about it before they got here and then find out that they have to pay even more money to get an education.
Many students said they will be financially harmed by school getting more expensive.
Yeah, so I mean, I come from a middle-class background, so I feel like being sort of in the middle, I feel like the main concern I have is with tuition increasing, because I'm doing okay now. I live in a studio apartment and rent in Sacramento is not cheap, but if things got more expensive, me and my family would have a harder time paying for this. So there's some fears for sure.
Sac State students explained what they would want the fee money to go toward.
It does go towards sports a lot of the times, but maybe increasing the facilities. We have a lot of a parking struggle here. We pay so much money to have parking, and yet a lot of us can't even find parking on campus. Arts for sure, maybe more programs. I know Sac State does have a lot of programs, but I think that's still important to maybe advertise more of those programs, because as a senior here, I haven't even heard about most of the programs that are going on at this school.
I do know some people in my own classes that have had a lot of issues with parking in terms of they have classes at 10 o'clock, but they have to get here at 7 just to secure a spot, which I think is kind of crazy, especially those that commute way past Sacramento. Like, it's not something that they should have to deal with on top of all their schoolwork. So even though it doesn't personally affect me, I do think that it would be nice to see something be done about parking, especially given how expensive it is. That's something that I think they could use that money for.
This has been Shamarky Holif for the State Hornet. Thanks for tuning in. The Students for Justice in Palestine held an art exhibit this past October in memory of the lives lost. This event marked 1 year since the war in Gaza began on October 7, 2023. The exhibit, called Let It Be a Tale, displayed 3 stages of a Palestinian girl's life during the genocide in Gaza, from birth to death. Senior Policy and Advocacy Coordinator at the Council on American Islamic Relations, Omar Al-Tamimi, spoke with our reporters, stating, quote, "This event is in response to the 1-year anniversary of October 7th, right? But what people don't talk about is October 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or the 75 years that preceded it." The third stage of the exhibit held a memorial for the victims of the genocide in Gaza, showcasing the names and faces of those who have died. Visit the State Hornet website for full coverage of this event.
La Bienvenida was a celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month held on September 18th, hosted by the Serna Center at the Library Quad. The event featured various campus clubs and resources available to students, as well as performances from Folklórico dancers and Banda Orgullo. Here is visual staffer Kai Ariana with La Bienvenida.
Hey everybody, I'm Kai Ariano, and we're here at La Bienvenida at the Library Quad to welcome new and returning students to the Hornet Familia. Everybody's here to celebrate Chicanx and Latinx culture, so join me as we talk to some students at the event.
Many students and faculty spoke about the significance and communal empowerment this event brings to Sac State's campus life and community.
What we want to do is celebrate our community, because if we don't do it, who's going to do it, right? So that's really why we're here. This is a celebration. This is a way for us to be in community, to build up those spaces and to make connections. And I think that's a great way for students to be retained, for them to feel like they have those bonds here on campus that are keeping them here.
I think it's a great opportunity for us to continue to learn more about our culture. I know a lot of, like, for myself, I'm not fully aware of what my culture means and what this represents for us, but the more and more I can walk around, the more I can learn. So I think it's a great opportunity to get informed.
For me, I think it's there's a lot of representation and unity coming into these events.
It spreads more awareness, and it makes people from the Latinx community feel welcome.
What I think it means for the Latinx community, I think it makes them feel seen and welcome. Especially for someone like me, it does make me feel more welcome and accepted, especially in a campus that's so diverse.
I think it just brings everybody together. Honestly, I didn't know there was this many Latin people here in Sac State, so it seems pretty cool that everybody just came together.
Yeah, I really think that it brings all of us together and we get to meet new people that we've never seen before, since it's a big school.
I think it's a good engagement with the community. It gives people stuff to do. It helps build connections.
Students had the chance to see amazing performances from Folklórico dancers and Banda Orgullo. Around them were many organizations and clubs at the event to encourage students to interact with campus life.
Yeah, we went around a few booths. We got a few munchy snacks. They were pretty cool. I liked them.
Yeah, same here. We went together. We just went around a couple, and then we did go get something to eat.
So far, I feel pretty welcomed into this event, especially since I'm also part of the Hispanic community. And I'm really enjoying it so far. It's good to learn new things about your community as well, things that I thought I already knew. So it's a really good event.
But there's a space on campus for Latinx and Hispanic students, and so I think that knowledge isn't very well known, and so we want to spread that awareness. And we also invited a lot of the Latinx serving campus and student orgs and departments, so also as a way to, build up that knowledge for our students, that there are multiple resources and organizations that they can join to be engaged and be active.
The event's purpose was to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month to give students a place to thrive and celebrate with one another.
This has been Ariano from the State Hornet.
Thank you. Now with sports, Evan Patoka and Kai Ariano.
I'm Evan Patoka.
And I'm Kai Ariano.
Today we are taking a deep dive into football, soccer, and volleyball. The Sac 12 is an initiative group created by local leaders, community members, and Sac State alumni whose goal is to get Hornet athletics into the FBS, specifically the Pac-12. The group announced a pathway to the Pac-12 that includes 5 steps. They have secured $35 million of their $50 million goal of NIL funds, dependent on if Sac State were to join the Pac-12. The university has partnered with the architect firm Populous to release the renderings for a new stadium that can seat 25,000. Sac 12 also announced that the Golden One Center offered to host most Sac State basketball games if they were to join the FBS conference. This would put them in a position to meet all of the requirements of the feasibility report for basketball. The last 2 steps are to average 15,000 attendance for home football games in 2024 and to secure $5.25 million in conference fees.
The Sac State football team is 3-4 and 1-2 in conference. They had a huge comeback win against Weber State, winning 51-48 during homecoming. Carson Conklin threw for 357 yards and threw 3 touchdowns. Sac State will play another Big Sky Conference home game at Hornet Stadium against the Portland State Vikings on November 2nd at 6 p.m.
Men's soccer is 3-3 in conference play after back-to-back wins. A 5-0 win at CSU Northridge saw Sean Battistessa score a hat trick. The game after was an upset win 3-1 against UC Santa Barbara, who received a vote in the most recent United Soccer Coaches Top 25 poll. Their next home matchup will be a Causeway Classic rivalry matchup against UC Davis on November 2nd at 3 p.m., which will be their last matchup of the regular season before the conference tournament starts November 6th. Women's soccer had 3 straight draws against Northern Colorado, Montana, and Northern Arizona to bring their conference record to 2-2-3. They remain undefeated at home with 4 wins and 4 draws, but winless on the road with 6 losses and 2 draws. They begin the Big Sky Conference tournament on November 6th as well.
Volleyball has been doing well with a winning record of 12-7 and are 5-1 in conference. They won their last game 3-1 against Portland State on Friday, October 18th in Portland, Oregon. There was a multitude of players who had a great game, but Bridget Smith stood out the most with 16 kills and 15 digs. The Hornets' next home game will be on October 31st at 7 p.m. against the Idaho Vandals.
Thank you for joining us. This is the State Hornet Broadcast. Student news without fear or favor.